In the spotlight tonight is Colin Daffern from Salford, a civil servant, and his specialist subject is the life and music of Ian Dury. Trevor Rhodes from the Wirral, who's unemployed, and his subject, the Agatha Raisin series of thrillers. Mark Eves from Oxted, an estate manager, and his subject, the life and gospel of St. Mark. And Chris Quinn from Liverpool, a development team leader, and his subject, the history of cryptography and code breaking. Hello, I'm John Humphreys and welcome to Mastermind. There's a lot at stake tonight. The winner gets a place in our grand final with a chance of becoming Mastermind 2006. The rules, of course, are the same. 2 minutes on specialist subjects and 2 minutes on general knowledge. So let's have our first contender, please. And your name is?
Colin Daffern.
Your occupation?
Civil servant.
And your chosen subject?
The life and music of Ian Dury.
Ian Dury in 2 minutes. Which song from the new Boots and Panties album was the traditional opener to Ian Dury's live shows for over 20 years?
Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll.
Wake Up and Make Love With Me. In 1951, Dury was sent to which school for the disabled in East Sussex, having contracted polio at the age of 7?
Shirley Heritage School.
Correct. What's the name of the tailor in the song Sex and Drugs and Rock and Roll?
Simon.
Yes. Which legendary singer-songwriter did Ian Dury and the Blockheads support on their North American tour in March 1978?
Lou Reed.
Yes. In which 1994 BAFTA award-winning drama directed by Richard Spence did Dury appear as Rendell?
Scaligrig.
Correct. What was the name of the group that Dury formed in 1971 with the pianist Russell Hardy and others while he was still lecturing at Art College?
Kilburn and the High Roads.
Correct. In which Devon town did Dury marry Betty Rachel after they'd both graduated from the Royal College of Art?
Roehampton.
Barnstaple. Under what title did Warner Brothers release an album of old material from Kilburn and the High Roads in '78 after Dury's success with the Blockheads?
Handsome.
What a bunch. In September '98, Dury visited which country as a UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador for a polio immunisation programme?
Angola.
Sri Lanka. Who designed the distinctive Blockheads logo as well as the sleeve for the Do-It-Yourself album, which was based on samples from a wallpaper catalogue?
Pass.
While they were on tour, in which city did Dury and the Blockheads record the session that produced the single Reasons to be Cheerful, Part 3?
Sheffield.
Rome. How did Dury avoid copyright problems with the title of the 1980 single Superman's Big Sister?
He changed the word Superman bad in an E.
Yes. After leaving Chiswick, Dury and his young family moved to which Buckinghamshire village and lived in a dilapidated former vicarage where his first son Baxter was born?
Pass.
With which rhythm section duo did Dury record the Lord Upminster album at Compass Point Studios in Nassau in 1981?
Sly and Robbie.
Yes, under what name did Dury record the 1984 album 4,000 Weeks Holiday?
Ian Dury and the Music Students.
Correct. Which London park has a Poets' Corner where a musical bench complete with an audio soundtrack of Dury songs and an interview was unveiled in 2002 and dedicated to his memory?
Pass.
What was the title of the debut single of Kilburn and the High Roads, which was released on the Dawn label in November 1974?
You're More Than Fair.
No, it was Rough Kids. You had 3 passes. Richmond Park was where that bench was unveiled. After leaving Chiswick, Dury and his young family moved to Wingrave, and Barney Bubbles designed that Blockheads logo. 3 passes, Colin Daffern, 8 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Trevor Rhodes.
Your occupation?
I'm unemployed.
And your chosen subject?
The Agatha Raisin series of thrillers by M.C. Beaton.
The Agatha Raisin books in 2 minutes. What is Agatha Raisin's dream cottage in Carsley called before she decides to name it Raisin's Cottage?
Budgeon's Cottage.
Yes, which plant supposedly in the Spanish quiche that Agatha enters for the Great Quiche competition kills the show judge, Reginald Cummings Brown?
Cowbane.
Yes, in Agatha Raisin, the Perfect Paragon, what was Bert Haviland's name before he changed it?
Bert Smelly.
Yes, what's the surname of the hairdresser, Mr. John, who's known as the Wizard of Evesham?
Shawpart.
Correct. In which castle in Cyprus does someone attempt to push Agatha through an upper floor window?
St. Hilarion.
Yes, what operation is the vet Paul Bladen about to perform on Lord Pendlebury's racehorse when he's killed with an injection of the anaesthetic Immobilon?
Hobday.
Yes, in Agatha Raisin and the Fairies of Fry Fam, what is Tolly Trumpington James said to have made his fortune from?
Pass.
Before she's murdered, which play is Mrs. Robin Barley planning to put on to raise funds for St. Ethelberg's Church?
Macbeth.
The importance of being earnest. In Agatha, Raisin and the Wellspring of Death, what's the name of the environmental group infiltrated by James Lacey, which plans to put cement in the spring?
Save Our Foxes.
Correct. Which novel by John Armitage, Agatha's new neighbour, does Miss Sims tell her has been in the bestsellers list for months?
Pass.
When Agatha opens her own detective agency in Mercester, whom does she hire to answer the phones when her original secretary, Emma Comfrey, proves herself useful at detecting?
Miss Sim.
Yes. In Agatha Raisin and the Murderous Marriage, what job does Agatha tell James that her first husband, Jimmy Raisin, had when they married?
Pass.
Which Benedictine monastery in the French Pyrenees does James ask to join after having taken sanctuary there when suffering from heat stroke?
St Anselm's.
Yes. Which clue first leads Agatha to suspect Josephine Webster of kidnapping her two cats?
Dried flower petal.
Yes. What's the name of Tubby and Harriet Comfrey's yacht on which James goes to France in Agatha Raisin and the Love from Hell?
Mary Rose.
The Sleeping Princess. During her stay in Wickhatten, which of Agatha's treasured possessions is cut to ribbons and daubed with red paint by Carly Broomhead?
Fur coat.
Yes. When Sir Charles Frayth makes his first appearance in Agatha Raisin and the Walkers of Dembley, what is the name of his butler?
Gustav.
Yes. Where is Agatha imprisoned with the body? I'll finish the question of Joanna Field while she's investigating at the disco in Evesham.
She's in the freezer.
She is, indeed. You had 3 passes. Loading newspapers in Fleet Street. That's what Agatha tells James that her first husband was doing. A Cruel Innocence is the novel by John Armitage. And Tolly Trumpington James was in the business of bathroom showers. As improbable as that may seem. 3 passes, Trevor Rhodes, 13 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Mark Eves,
Your occupation?
Estate Manager.
And your chosen subject?
The Life and Gospel of St Mark.
St. Mark, in 2 minutes. According to tradition, St. Mark was the founder and first patriarch of the church in which city?
Alexandria.
Correct. Following which miracle did Jesus and the disciples leave by boat for the region of Dalmanuta?
The feeding of 4,000.
Yes. While writing from prison, to whom did Paul address the words, "Get Mark and bring him with you, because he is helpful to me in my ministry"?
Timothy.
Yes. In Colossians chapter 4, verse 10, Paul refers to Mark as the cousin of whom?
Barnabas.
Yes. In chapter 13 of Mark's Gospel, which of Jesus' parables warns the disciples to be ever vigilant for his return?
The parable of the servants who are told to watch.
The watchful servants. Yes. What explanation is given by the possessed man living in the tombs at Gerasenes when he says that his name is Legion?
We are many.
For we are many, yes. What is the opening line of Psalm 22, having been, according to Mark, the words that Jesus called out at the 9th hour of his crucifixion?
My God, why hast thou forsaken me?
Yes. What destructive miracle does Jesus perform as he leaves Bethany for Jerusalem, according to chapter 11 of Mark's Gospel?
He curses the fig tree.
Yes. What question posed by a teacher in the temple at Jerusalem did Jesus answer by quoting the opening line of the Shema?
What is the most important law?
Yes. What is the greatest commandment? What does Jesus use as well as his touch when he heals the blind man at Bethsaida and also the deaf mute?
Spittle.
Yes. How does Peter refer to Mark in his greeting at the end of his first epistle?
Beloved son.
Yes, my son, Mark. In his work Explanation on the Sayings of the Lord, which 2nd century bishop of Hierapolis wrote that Mark was Peter's interpreter and had accurately written down his teaching?
Papias.
Yes, what happened at the house of Simon the leper, which Jesus told the disciples was a preparation for his death?
His head was anointed with pure nard.
Yes, in verses 47 and 48 of Mark chapter 10, how does blind Bartimaeus address Jesus as he calls to him from the roadside at Jericho?
Jesus, son of David.
Yes, what term is used in Mark chapter 7, verse 11 for the practice of dedicating a gift to God, which Jesus attacks in an argument with the Pharisees?
Corban.
Yes, Herod Antipas's marriage to Herodias was contrary to Mosaic law because she had previously been married to which of his half-brothers?
Philip.
Yes, which Aramaic phrase meaning, finish the question, little girl, I say to you, get up, did Jesus say to Jairus' daughter when he restored her to life?
Talitha cum.
Talitha cum is exactly right. No passes, Mark Eves, 17 points. And our last contender, please. And your name is?
Chris Quinn,
Your occupation?
Development Team Leader.
And your chosen subject?
The history of cryptography and code breaking.
Cryptography and code breaking. What collective name was given to the intelligence gathered from the interception and decoding of encrypted military communication at Bletchley Park?
Enigma.
Ultra. What do the letters PGP stand for in the widely used email encryption software?
Pretty good privacy.
Correct. What name was given to the stick used by the Spartans, which had a message wound round it that could only be read by using a stick of the same thickness?
A skytile.
Yes. What was the name of the 9th century Arab philosopher and scientist who wrote a manuscript on deciphering cryptographic messages?
Aldini.
Al-Kindi. What name is used for symbols or letters which improve the security of a monoalphabetic substitution cipher because they do not represent anything themselves?
Pass.
According to the Roman historian Suetonius, who used a simple substitution cipher in his confidential communications?
Julius Caesar.
Yes, what was the name of Francis Walsingham's agent who deciphered the treasonous correspondence between Anthony Babington and Mary Queen of Scots?
Thomas Phillips.
Yes, in 1976, details were first made public of which key exchange system that allowed two parties who had no prior knowledge of each other to jointly establish a shared secret key over an insecure communications channel.
The Diffie-Hellman-Merkel.
Yes, what name was given to the machine originally built by Tommy Flowers, designed to decrypt the German Lorentz cipher and began working at Bletchley Park in December 43?
Colossus.
Yes, Charles Babbage and which Prussian cryptanalyst both independently broke the polyalphabetic Wiesner cipher?
Kaczynski.
Yes, what was the literal meaning of the Navajo word beshlo, which was used as a code word for submarine during the Second World War?
Frog.
Iron fish. Which short phrase in French is used to refer to a message or text in ordinary rather than coded language?
Plain text.
En clair. What name was given to the British Admiralty's Cipher Bureau, which deciphered the encrypted Zimmermann telegram in 1917?
Room 40.
Yes, which algorithm, which was developed at MIT and introduced in 1977, is a secure public key system which uses differing keys for encryption and decryption?
Public key.
RSA. Invented in the 19th century, what does Charles Wheatstone's Playfair cipher encrypt rather than single letters?
Digraphs.
Digraphs is correct. You had just one pass. The name used for symbols or letters which improve the security of monoalphabetic substitution cipher and all that are nulls. There we are. One pass. Chris Quinn, 9 points.
Thank you.
So that's the end of the first round. Let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 8 points is Colin Daffern. In 3rd place, 9 points, Chris Quinn. 2nd place with 13 points, Trevor Rhodes. In the lead, 17 points, Mark Eves. General knowledge round now, and if there's a tie at the end of this round, then the number of passes get taken into account. So let us ask Colin Daffern to join us again, if he would, please. And you're our Ian Dury expert. Quite a remarkable singer, though possibly he should have been better known for his lyrics than his singing. Would you agree with that?
I think so. I think he's a brilliant lyricist, one of the best.
What makes him so good?
I just think his ability to sort of conjure up these images, these word pictures. I mean, the songs are really probably his best songs are the ones that are about characters and places and situations. He really was a storyteller, I think, in his songs.
Can you think of any that?
I mean, Billericay Dickie, which is an amazing portrait, really, of this sort of Essex boy, Jack the Lad character. The opening verse, or the first half of the opening verse, is I had a love affair with Nina in the back of my Cortina. A seasoned-up hyena could not have been more obscene. It's just the rhyming is brilliant.
It's not Shakespeare, is it? But it's
not Shakespeare, but it's poetry of a kind, I think.
It's terrific,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely, a vitality. And left a legacy?
Oh, yeah, I think people Madness is the one that springs to mind, obviously, but I think he was quite influential. The resonance is there with other artists, I think, you know.
Right, well, let's get on to general knowledge. You have 8 points with Ian Dury. Let's see how you do with 2 minutes of general knowledge. The television comedy series The Green Green Grass, starring John Challis as Boycie and Sue Holderness as Marlene, is a spin-off from which classic series?
Only Fools and Horses?
Yes, what word can mean the proof of a book with unnumbered pages or a kitchen on board ship?
Galley?
Yes. Which cathedral was supposedly built by the guardians of the remains of St Cuthbert, who were guided to the spot by a maiden searching for a cow?
Pass.
Which Renaissance artist and engineer was apprenticed to Andrea del Verrocchio when he was about 15 years old?
Leonardo da Vinci? Correct.
Which infectious disease mainly affecting children is caused by the varicella-zoster virus?
Whooping cough?
Chickenpox. Which Scottish sport was thought to be first referenced in the Muses' Threnody, written by Henry Adamson and published in 1638?
Curling.
Yes, what's the popular name of the war that began in 1756 with the Prussian attack on Saxony, eventually involved all the great powers of Europe?
100 Years' War.
7 Years' War. Which French designer combined art and fashion with his Mondrian dresses of 1965?
Pass.
Which snakes, named for their pattern of the markings on their bodies, are the largest of the rattlesnakes?
Razorback.
Diamondback. The name of which ancient religious philosophy is derived from the Chinese for Wei?
Shinto.
Taoism. Which architect's works include the creation of Buckingham Palace from the old Buckingham House and the design of Marble Arch?
Pass.
Who was the first Plantagenet King of England?
James I.
Henry II. Which composer was appointed as the first professor of music at Birmingham University in 1905?
Elgar.
Yes, Kathleen Turner, Jerry Hall and Amanda Donohoe are among the actresses who have played which role on the London stage originally portrayed by Anne Bancroft in a 1967 film?
Mrs. Robinson.
Yes, sometimes known as Provençal. Which Romance language is spoken by about 1.5 million people in southern France?
Walloon.
Languedoc. What name is given to the calculating device consisting of 2 rules engraved with logarithmic scales of numbers, one of which moves next to the other?
Slide rule.
Yes. Cusco in Peru was the capital of which empire from the beginning of the 15th century until 1533?
The Aztec.
The Inca. What was the stage name under which he became world famous of Eric Weitz, who was born in Budapest in 1874?
Rachmaninoff.
No, it was Houdini. You had 3 passes. John Nash did Buckhouse and Marble Arch and all that. Yves Saint Laurent combined art with fashion and those Mondrian dresses. And Durham was the cathedral supposedly built by the guardians of the remains of St. Cuthbert. 3 passes. Colin Daffern, 15 points. And now Chris Quinn, please. Fascinating subject, this cryptography and code breaking. How far back did... Well, forever, I suppose. It's ancient.
Yes, ancient Greeks, the first recorded use of cryptography, which is not just, encoding things, but hiding messages. There are recordings of, people sending messages to organise revolts against the Persians, tattooed on a slave's head.
Really?
They shave his head, tattoo the message, let the hair grow back, and then send him off to the recipient.
Bletchley Park, that I suppose is the most famous code-breaking centre of all time?
Yes, surprisingly, very little was known about it for at least 30 years afterwards because of secrecy. Nobody knew about it until probably the late 70s, early 80s, when the secret started to filter out. And it was, apparently it was quite common when you were employed at Bletchley Park. You walked in to sign the Official Secrets Act, and there was an army officer sitting there with a pistol on the table in front of him, basically saying, you let anything slip and you're up against the wall.
Yeah, that would deter you a bit, probably, wouldn't it?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Well, it's a fascinating subject. You have 9 points. With it, let's see how you do with general knowledge. In which 1995 film did Tom Hanks deliver the line, "Houston, we have a problem"?
Apollo 13.
Yes. Which 18th century composer wrote symphonies nicknamed Paris, Linz and Prague?
Beethoven.
Mozart. What type of fuel mainly powers the Ford Focus fuel cell vehicle hybrid, which was unveiled at the Eden Project in October 2002?
Hydrogen.
Correct. At which battle in 1801 did Nelson reputedly see no signal from on board HMS Elephant?
The Nile.
Copenhagen. Which Briton won the silver medal in the women's skeleton bobsleigh events at the 2006 Turin Olympics?
Pass.
In 1924, the poet and critic André Breton wrote the so-called manifesto of which art movement that grew out of Dadaism and flourished in Europe between the world wars?
Bauhaus.
Surrealism. Goat Fell is the highest point of which Scottish island?
Skye.
Arran. What's the common name for muscari, which has tightly packed blue flower heads and appears in spring?
Pass.
Catriona is the sequel to which novel by Robert Louis Stevenson?
Kidnapped.
Yes. Which Italian family founded and still play a major role in the control of the Fiat Motor Company?
Antonelli.
Agnelli. Smokey Bear was created in 1944 by the American National Forest Service to publicise its campaign to prevent what?
Forest fires.
Yes. A permanent exhibition of which artist's work is on view at the 1853 Gallery at Salts Mill in West Yorkshire?
Hockney.
Yes. Which of the major rites of the Muslim religion takes place during Dhu al-Hijjah, the last month of the Islamic year?
Ramadan.
No. Hajj, a pilgrimage to Mecca. Which member of the British royal family went on safari with the Blue Peter team in 1971?
Princess Anne.
Yes. The 16th of September 1992, when Britain was forced out of the ERM, is generally known by what name?
Black Tuesday.
Black Wednesday. Which jazz trumpeter included the Cyndi Lauper hit Time After Time on his album You're Under Arrest?
Courtney Pine.
Miles Davis. Which Australian river was named in 1697 by the Dutch navigator Willem de Vlaming after the distinctively coloured birds he saw there?
Swan River.
Yes. What name from the Arabic for tiller of the soil is given to the peasantry in Egypt?
Pass.
Well, I can tell you it's fella. And you had two other passes. Grape Hyacinth is Muscari. And Shelley Rudman won that silver medal. 3 passes, Chris Quinn, 16 points. And now Trevor Rhodes, please. Now, this is one of those series of books that sells hugely in the United States, but hadn't been published here for reasons that puzzle me a bit. Why? Right. What was going on there?
Well, I don't really know, truthfully. I think it was felt that because of their portrayal of a cosy English countryside, that would appeal to an American audience. And also possibly the feisty woman.
This is Agatha Raisin.
Agatha Raisin herself. Might go down well with the Americans. But I find it strange, and I think it is now beginning to very much appeal to a British audience.
What is she then? I mean, she's not a detective, at least initially she's not a detective.
She retires from public relations. She decides to come down to the Cotswolds to live and for a quiet life. But then it all starts going wrong in the first book when she enters a shop-bought quiche in a quiche competition.
Sacrilege.
Indeed. And it also turns out to kill the judge, which is a little unfortunate.
Hence the title, wonderful title, Quiche of Death. Yes, quite very clever. You have 13 points, so you're in the running to get into the final. Let's see how you do with your general knowledge. 2 minutes. In the NATO phonetic alphabet, the name of which city represents the letter L?
Lima.
Yes. Which Gilbert and Sullivan operetta has the alternative title The Merry Man and His Maid?
Pass.
Which shrub, similar to gorse but without the spines, grows on heathland and sandy soil over most of Britain?
Heather.
Broome. The German city of Chemnitz was named after which political theorist between 1953 and 1990?
Pass.
Which former Chancellor of the Exchequer was defeated by the Liberal Democrat candidate at Harrogate in the 1997 general election?
Nigel Lawson.
Norman Lamont. Which river, after rising high in the Cairngorms, flows past Balmoral Castle and the village of Braemar on its way to the sea?
The D.
Yes. The works of which 17th century Dutch artist include the music lesson and the art of painting, the latter possibly incorporating a back view of himself?
Vermeer.
Yes. What word can mean a crudely built shack or a work song sung by sailors?
Shanty.
Yes. The former England cricket captain Peter May played for which county?
Middlesex.
Surrey. The opening words of which Latin epic in translation are, I sing of arms and the man who first from the shores of Troy came destined for an exile to Italy?
The Aeneid.
Yes. Sodium and which other metallic element were first isolated in 1807 by Sir Humphrey Davy using electrolysis?
Hydrogen.
Potassium. In the film Four Weddings and a Funeral, who plays Gareth, the subject of the funeral?
Pass.
Which heiress was kidnapped by the Symbionese Liberation Army in 1974 and under duress joined them in acts of robbery and extortion?
Patricia Hearst.
Yes. What type of nose is described as retroussé?
Hooked.
Turned up. Which British bird is also known as the hedge sparrow, though it's not related to the sparrow at all?
Blackbird.
Dunnock. Which former English head of state died in seclusion on 12th of July 1712 in the house of Sergeant Pengelly in Cheshunt, Hertfordshire?
Pass.
Which composer's works were definitively catalogued by Anthony von Hoboken?
Mozart.
Which Cornish television policeman was assisted, I'll finish the question, by D.I. Doug Kersey and D.I. Lucy Lane?
Wycliffe.
Yes, Wycliffe, yes. Superintendent Wycliffe. You had 4 passes. Richard Cromwell died in seclusion on 12th of July 1712. Simon Callow was the subject of Four Weddings and a Funeral. Marx was the chap after whom that German city was named, and Yeoman of the Guard was the other title of The Merry Man and His Maid. 4 passes, Trevor Rhodes, 20 points.
Thank you.
And finally, Mark Eves, please. Gospel of St. Mark. How does Mark differ from the other gospel writers in the way he portrayed Jesus?
He very much portrays Jesus as a servant who's come to suffer.
As opposed to a leader?
As opposed to a king. I mean, the difference between, a very profound difference between Mark and Luke and Matthew, for instance, is that Mark doesn't start with a genealogy, either going back to Abraham or to Adam. But it's been argued that if you're talking about a servant, the important thing is what they do, not who they were.
The good news gospel, that's how Mark described. Why is that?
Well, this is the good news. It uses the Greek word evangelion, which is good news, which we have taken and used the old Anglo-Saxon word gospel, or good news, to translate. And so very much the gospel, the phrase gospel, talking about it as a gospel, is very much right there at the heart of Mark.
And do you read them over and over? Get
Yes.
something from each reading?
Yes, and a lot of help for a quiz like this.
Yes, that's the practical nature of it, isn't it? Right, well, you have 17 points. You're in a strong position. Let's see how you do with general knowledge. Which musical features the song My Favourite Things?
South Pacific.
Sound of Music. Which sport uses a plastic ball weighing up to 16 pounds with 3 holes in it to facilitate its movement?
Hockey.
10-pin bowling. St Bees Head is the most westerly point of which English county?
Cumbria.
Yes, which Dickens novel begins, whether I shall turn out to be the hero of my own life or whether that station will be held by anybody else, these pages must show.
David Copperfield.
Yes, Pongo pygmaeus is the Latin name for which primate found in the wild, mainly in Malaysia?
Orangutan.
Yes, which floor covering produced from a mixture of oxidised linseed oil and other substances applied to a felt backing was patented in 1863 by Frederick Walton?
Linoleum.
Yes, which ship was opened as a tourist attraction at Leith in Edinburgh in October 1998?
The Endeavour.
Britannia, Royal Yacht Britannia. Which dramatic event of 16th October 1834 was captured by Turner in a series of watercolours?
The opening of Waterloo Bridge.
No, the burning of the Houses of Parliament. What name is given to a sleeve that balloons out from the shoulder but fits tightly from the elbow to the wrist, which was fashionable in the early 20th century?
Puff.
Leg of Mutton. Which American weekly news magazine published in New York was founded in 1923 by Henry R. Luce and Britton Haddon?
Newsweek.
Time. Which club did Manchester United beat in the 1968 final to become the first English club to win the European Cup?
Benfica.
Yes, in which 70s television sitcom did Elizabeth Estenson play Sandra's flatmate Carol?
The Liverbirds.
Yes, on which of the Canary Islands are the fire mountains which emit sufficient heat from crevices to cook food?
Tenerife.
Lanzarote. Which radical Islamist movement won a large majority in the Palestinian parliament in the January 2006 elections?
Hamas.
Yes, the police chief Baron Scarpia is the villain of which Puccini opera?
Rigoletto.
Tosca. Which layer of the upper atmosphere was discovered by the French physicist Charles Fabry when he was studying the light spectra of the sun and stars?
Ionosphere.
Ozone. Which building, thought to have been designed by Gundulph, Bishop of Rochester, forms the oldest part of the Tower of London?
The White Tower.
The White Tower is correct. No passes. Mark Eves, 25 points. So, at the end of the contest, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 15 points, Colin Daffern. In 3rd place with 16 points, Chris Quinn. 2nd place with 20 points, Trevor Rhodes. In 1st place with 25 points, Mark Eves. So we shall be seeing Mark Eves again when he takes his place in our grand final. Do join us next time for more Masterminds. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Problem pregnancies. Tonight on BBC Two, meet the Manchester midwives caring for those who need help the most at 9. Coming next, rugby highlights on the Super League show.